Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to day 21 of albums that are 50 years old in 2021. So, of course, we are looking at that magical year, 1971. All those albums are turning 50 years old this year. We decided to do this in February. 28 days in February, 28 favorites pulled from the entire list, and then 28 honorable mentions. So one favorite each day, one honorable mention. We're at day 21. Not that far to go till the 28th, right? And then we start something completely different in March. So today, another one of those albums that I have seen on a lot of your picks throughout the month. I think you all knew I was getting to this one eventually, right? So this one came out in April 19th to be exact, 1971 on the Elektra label, recorded at the Workshop in Los Angeles, California, produced by the band along with Bruce Botnick. I'm talking about LA Woman. Yeah, I mean, the final studio album released by The Doors with Jim Morrison, where they actually go in and record a new album anyway. This is one of those albums from the band. They only have a handful of albums, right? It's not like these guys did a ton of recordings together, but in that short span of time that they were together as a unit in this configuration, they were cranking out lots of hits, cranking out the few albums they did, and this is the final piece from this classic lineup. Definitely the bluesiest of all the albums. Mix of blues, mix of kind of like atmospheric rock, which they were known for. Really good songs. Very different from the early Doors sound, which was, more of that American psychedelia type of thing. Here, the blues rock, front and center. A lot of great songs. And I think the band just sounds terrific together here. So let's take a look at, tracks on here. So, of course, we've got the Changeling. Good up-tempo rocker. Love Her Madly was the big hit. That, again, very indicative of the Doors sound. Love Her Madly did very well in the charts. Been Down So Long. Good, gritty, bluesy rocker. Big fan of that. Very aggressive vocal from Jim Morrison. Cars Here, Hiss By My Window. Another cool, kind of quirky, kind of fun song from the band. Of course, you got the title track, LA Woman. Lengthy title track. Staple of classic rock radio. All right. Great piano from Ray Manzarek. All right. You got L'America, another fun song. Hyacinth House, another bluesy track. Crawling King Snake, more blues. You got The Wasp, Texas Radio and the Big Beat. Very cool song. Kind of comes across like a Texas radio program, right? Jim's doing his DJ kind of thing, right? Very cool song. I like that. And then, of course, you have the legendary final track, final epic. Doors on almost all of their albums ended things on the album with a lengthy, sprawling, atmospheric, psychedelic epic. Here we have Riders on the Storm. I mean, who could forget that? Just chilling atmospheric piano. Jim's very soft-spoken vocals, the great chorus. Riders on the Storm. It's just such a great, great song. Love it to death. Great production on this. Again, this would be the final album of Morrison, Manzarek, Krieger, and Densmore, but it's a damn good one. It's funny, I remember when I did the Ranking the Album show as well as the Top 10 Song show for the Doors. I mean, really hard band to do ranking shows because they really, in my mind, never had any slip-ups. They had so many great songs. I mean, so many. The hits were great and still great. The deep cuts are great. Just a really, really important band that is it's one of those bands that almost everybody likes. It's very rare that I come across someone who doesn't like the Doors. But it's one of those bands that I think a lot of us, especially here in North America and in the States, have kind of taken for granted because it's kind of like Creedence Clearwater Revival. A band that was not around for that long, but made such an impact. So many classic songs that everybody knows and that people still listen to this day, including myself. So there you have it. That is my pick for today, LA Woman by the Doors. And my honorable mention is an album that I tried desperately to get into my top 28. But as we've talked about, sometimes you have a year like 1971 where it's like there's just so many great albums that it's kind of hard. Of course, I just flashed it there below. There's so many great albums, you can't fit them all in, and it's just a matter of, well, you know what? An honorable mention is still a great one in my book, and it's getting talked about on this program, and that's the important thing. So I'm talking about from November 1971, Humble Pie performance, Rock in the Fillmore. All right, recorded at the Fillmore East in New York City, released on A&M Records. This is the original lineup of the band before Mr. Frampton flew the coop. All right, so of course we're talking about Peter Frampton on guitars and vocals, the legendary Steve Marriott on guitars and vocals, Greg Ridley on bass and vocals, and Jerry Shirley on drums. Engineered by none other than Mr. Eddie Kramer himself. This is, a lot of people talk about performance Rock in the Fillmore as arguably one of the greatest live albums of all time, and certainly of that era in the 1970s. And I won't disagree that it's a really, really good one. Some folks love the absolute raw, gritty nature of it. A lot of the songs that are performed on here are heavier than their studio counterparts. There is a fair amount of lengthy jamming and longish tunes, which I know some people love, some people don't love. 4-Day Creep absolutely kills on here. I'm Ready absolutely kills on here. Stone Cold Fever, good hard rock song. That makes up side one of the original vinyl. That heavy hitting, shorter tracks right there. Okay, but then of course you move on to I Walk on Gilded Splinters, which is well over 20 minutes long. Okay, that's an old Dr. John classic, right? Then you've got another lengthy track, Rolling Stone, of course, the old Muddy Waters classic, big bluesy, audience participation, solos, all that kind of stuff. Then you've got Hallelujah, I Love Her So, and I Don't Need No Doctor, which is pushing 10 minutes right there. So again, and side 4 of the vinyl, Hallelujah, I Love Her So, Ray Charles. Of course, you got I Don't Need No Doctor is an old Ashford and Simpson classic, right? But given brand new life, made their own by Humble Pie. Ironically, probably their best known song, right? Or one of the two. But it's a classic from this album, big and heavy, a lot of riffs, a lot of soloing. Just, the whole kind of synergy of this band, of this lineup in full flight here. But as history would show it, Frampton would soon be gone. In comes Dave Clem Clemson, who I thought was a fantastic replacement. We sometimes talk about those bad replacements, right? Musicians, singers, whatever, that didn't work out. In this instance, Clem Clemson totally worked out. Because you could make an argument that some of the stuff that Humble Pie did going forward with Clem on board, and even their live performances, arguably as strong, if not stronger, than the Frampton version, right? So, because I think, Clem kind of really settled into the band as a member of the band, whereas when you had Frampton and Marriott, there's kind of this, you can almost feel this control at the top for, who's going to be, the more prominent member from the songwriting perspective, vocally, all that sort of stuff. So, but yeah, Rockin' the Fillmore, legendary stuff right here. That's my honorable mention for today. At any other time, we do this in, at a later date, it might actually be in my top 28. This was, I've had lots of movers and shakers in my list over the month, but I'm just happy I'm talking about that. So that's whether it's in my list of 28 or the honorable mention, we're discussing it. That's all that matters. So LA Woman is my pick for the day. Honorable mention, Rockin' the Fillmore. The performance, great performance by Humble Pie. If you haven't heard either one of these, and I highly doubt there's anybody who would fall into that category, but you never know. Definitely check them out. They're both great if you like the kind of bluesier rock persuasion. So again, here, if we're keeping track, and I'm not, but today we've got the main pick is an American band. The honorable mention is a British band. I think if I were to look back on my list, I would think the British bands are probably winning this whole thing. It's probably not even close, but it's interesting how that makes up the majority of the bands that were doing amazingly incredible stuff during this time period. The British bands and musicians and artists just absolutely knocking it out of the park, but a lot of good stuff was happening here in the States too. So you know the drill, everybody. In the comments below, pick your next day, your day 21 favorite from 1971. It's got its 50th birthday this year. And pick an honorable mention as well. We'll be back at you tomorrow with day number 22. All right, we're going to continue up to the 28th with this, and then we're going to move into Dream set lists throughout the month of March, right? Let's see. So what else we got coming up on the channel? Going to be a little quiet for the rest of today. This is all you're going to get today. I got a lot of other stuff going on that do not have anything to do with here on YouTube. Later on today, tomorrow, we've got the Hudson Valley Squares, of course, with another cool show. We're going to talk about some of our favorite releases from 1982. Join us live here on YouTube at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also, Butch Jones and myself are going to continue on with the Perfect Album series. Butch is joining me for this episode, number 3. So we're each going to pick 5 more albums that we feel are absolutely perfect, top to bottom, start to finish. Don't ever skip a track. We've got coming up all sorts of other great stuff throughout the week. Really cool show with a really cool guest, all on favorite double albums. Okay, we got a live show, another live show coming up Tuesday night. Martin Popoff and myself. Some of our favorite solo albums from notable members of notable bands that they made while they were still in that band. Okay, that's happening on Tuesday night. Join us live for that. Is that Tuesday or is that Wednesday? I am losing track. I'll give you some more. I don't have my phone because it's charging. That's where my calendar is. But that is also coming up this week, as well as another live episode of The Monsters Den. All right, that'll be actually a little bit earlier this week. That'll be 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time this coming Thursday. Jamie Laszlo is joining Rich Catino, Chris Allo, and myself for an hour-long discussion of the Evil Dead series. So that's all happening this weekend. A lot more stuff, so stay tuned for all of it, and we'll see you then. Take care. Bye-bye.